Hi guys, welcome back to NB Blix. This time it's me, Kim, who will show you a house called the Air House Project by Atelier Likja. So this house has 2 floors and its concept is tropical contemporary. You can see from the facade itself that the dominant color is terracotta or brick. It's combined with shades of gray. And if you look at the materials, they use a rough textured plaster finish and brick veneer. There are 2 entrances, so this one here is the garage. We can enter through this door and that's the pedestrian entrance. Now, for the gate itself, the material is made of perforated metal and hollow steel sections. So the color is black and it's not heavy at all, guys. It's actually really light. Okay, this slides open if you want to take the car out. The garage can fit 2 cars. Now, from the appearance itself, it already shows the same thing as the front earlier. The color matches the terracotta color, which is the brick veneer. It's combined with a rough textured plaster finish in gray. Here we can actually see what looks like a line. This is a special door. It's for household staff to enter from here. Later inside, I'll show you how the household staff enters the service area from this door. The floor here is made from andesite. You can see that the material is really meant for outdoor use. And for the top part, it uses a steel structure with grills. So you can see it's designed to let the sunlight in, but also divide it up. So it's not too hot either. Let's move straight to the next area as we head toward the foyer. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to show the entrance from the pedestrian walkway here. Now here we can feel that the architecture itself creates a green feel. There's a frangipani tree here. And here there are also some small patches of grass, even though right next to it there's something like... There's a solid gray section here. Now let's move on to this part. This is the door that leads to the entrance from the pedestrian area. From what I see, the material is actually the same as the one used in the garage. And this is comfortable for 2 people to enter. Okay, now as for the use of the terracotta, it's still being used. And yes, here we can see it from the outside, guys. It turns out that at the top, there's a strip to let light in. And it runs along the entire width of this house. Now, let's take a look. We're entering the foyer, guys. All right. For the walls, they're still using brick cladding. Now, here we have a seating area. The color is also gray. Let's go straight into the foyer area. Now, for the main door, it's made of engineered wood, and the finish is HPL. As you can see, just like most main doors, it's always big and tall. And they added these strips as a design detail so it doesn't look too clean. So this is the foyer area. No benches yet, it's still unfurnished. But we can see that there's already 1 table placed here. What we see are a lot of benches again. There must be a reason for that. Let's go straight to the next area, friends. Now right away, the room gets a bit smaller. We're immediately presented with a spacious, bright room. And you can definitely see that the use of color has already been applied here. This is for the flooring itself. I can feel that it's cool, yeah. Even though I'm wearing these socks, this uses granite tile from Infinity. The size is 80 by 80. That's why I look at it as a whole. It makes the room feel more spacious. Here we also have a powder room. So for friends who come to visit here, they can use this bathroom, which is quite decent for guests. And for the flooring itself, it matches the one in the living room. It's gray and combined with white, just like in the living room. It's comfortable and the lighting is also very effective, so it's quite bright. Okay, let's move on to the next. So, over here, the architect also provided a place to put on shoes. The bench here is nice, it's soft. There's also a shoe rack, so if you want to put on your shoes, like that. If you want to open it, it's like this. Yeah, like that. Let's go straight to the guest room area. Now let's open this, friends. So this is the guest room, friends. See? We can immediately see that the window is really big. To let in air and light, this leads to the garden area we saw earlier, friends, the one next to the living area. This can also be opened for ventilation. And there's one here as well. A bathroom, which is definitely needed for guests. So there's an ensuite bathroom. Well, you can see here, friends, if the color and the tone, it's the same as in the previous room. There's terracotta, there's gray, and of course the flooring is granite. It's infinity tile, just like in the living room. You remember, right? I mentioned it earlier. There's a kind of glass on the front facade that goes into the house, which you can see from the front. That's right here, guys. That's to give this room some privacy. Usually for a room, you would put it on the window, right? Or maybe put it up above so that people outside can't see inside here, but at the same time, it lets light in. Let's move straight to the inner courtyard area, friends. So here we can see that the architect really wanted to create something. An atmosphere or a fairly large outdoor area where this area is really open, so rainwater or wind can come in. Sunlight can also enter. Now, if you want, like I mentioned earlier at the front, about the entrance for the housekeeper or service area, it's over here, friends. This is the entrance. And then the housekeeper comes in and walks to this area. And then later, it leads to the door that's in the perforated block wall. So that perforated block wall, if you look at it at a glance, it looks like a wall you can see through. But it turns out there's a door over here. So right in front of us now you can see that there's a big, massive wall. And it's finished with a rough textured finish. And you can see that the drip grooves were done in a very deliberate way. It's quite interesting, right? Now you can also see down in this area. That's provided for the water channel. So later on, rainwater falls, then it's collected above, then goes into this pipe and eventually flows down to the lower area so the water won't pool up. And it's immediately directed to the drainage channel. Now, let's move on to the area that was specifically provided by the architect, which is right here. You could say this is kind of like a patio area for seating, for gathering, but the benches just aren't available yet. And then for the shelter itself, they made these slats here. The slats are intentionally designed so that when sunlight comes in, it creates interesting shading like this, guys. So we can see it here, just like before. This is a breeze block wall with a door that's made. Just kidding, it's not hard at all. So you enter through here, the housekeeper does, and then continue towards the service area. Later we can see it from over there, okay? Alright, let's move straight to the next area, guys. So, this is the dining area. That's the dining area. You can see that it uses a massive table. The material is wood, and it can fit about 8 people. Next is the preparation area. This is made from a stone slab, and its size is 1.2 by 2.7. Well, you can also see that this area can actually fit a lot of people. And of course, there's room under this table. It's placed there for benches or seating like that. Now here we can also see that it's just like a typical kitchen area. There's a refrigerator, there's storage space. Now for the cooking area, see, there's nothing there, right, friends? Even though a backsplash and a countertop have already been provided, and even the range hood as well. So it turns out that the owner actually decided that they just want this area to stay clean. So the cooking will be done in the back area or in the service area. All right, let's move on, friends. This is the maid's room. Yes, the area we mentioned earlier as the service area. So as you can see, it's already set up here. There's a place for laundry and for cooking, like I mentioned earlier. At first, it was placed in the front, but it turns out they wanted it here. The focus is only on the back area. So, do you remember what I mentioned earlier? I said there's an entrance from the vent block area. Well, it leads right here, friends, into the maid's area. You enter through here, like that. There's a room here, there's a bathroom, the maid's bathroom. Then there's also a bed for the maid, and there's also a storage room here. Of course, it's filled with a lot of stuff. There's also a laundry room here. Now in this area, friends, we can see that the architect placed the pump and piping area here. So the controls are put there. So it doesn't use up space that could be used for something else. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next area. All right, friends. Before we go straight upstairs, let's take a look here first. It turns out under the stairs, the architect also made use of the space right here. You can see that it can be used as an area for the kids to sit and read. And of course, if we pay attention, the light from above actually comes in through the gaps in the stairs. From here, we can also let air in. So there's a doorknob here. As you can see, if it's opened, air from outside can also come in. Now, let's take a look at the stairs, okay? Because the stairs are really interesting, friends. So these are the stairs. It's built using a suspended stair design. That is a suspended stair. And this material is hollow steel section. The wood is solid wood. And this is a hollow steel section covered with a plate, if you look at it closely. It really looks like it's floating at first glance, which is exactly the effect the architect wanted to highlight. So it's not solid, guys. Let's go straight upstairs. Okay, guys, this is when I'm going up the stairs. I can also see that indeed, these stairs. There's also a skylight above, and it's quite high, guys. They also made slats, and to create an effect. So when the sun goes down, there will be some shading. Right now, the sun is just starting to show. Look. Let's go straight to the second floor, guys. All right, let's head to the second floor. Here, we're immediately greeted with a fairly spacious balcony. It really feels breezy here. The breeze feels so nice here. This area is for people to gather. And if you look at it, it can definitely fit a lot of people. And this is one of the advantages, where if our house isn't attached to the stairs, we can have a balcony like this. It's this luxurious, friends. So on the second floor, there are bedrooms, friends. There's a master bedroom, then there are kids' rooms, there are 2 kids' rooms, and there's also a bathroom. Now we're going to see the other kids' room. So for this room, this is the bathroom. Let's take a look right away, friends. This is the kids' bathroom, and for the materials used here, they used mosaic tiles. Now for the flooring itself, it's still the same as before. Earlier, it used NPDT. The tone is still the same as before, which is the use of gray color and white. Let's move on right away to the next area, which is the children's bedroom. Yes. So for the color scheme, you can see that overall it's white. So it creates a more spacious effect. Well, you can see that the lighting is really influenced by having large windows. This can be opened, guys, if you want to let in some fresh air from outside. Well, as for the placement, actually, from what I saw earlier, it hasn't been settled according to the plan yet because the furniture and items haven't been moved in. That's it. So guys, before we go to the master bedroom, here we can see a pretty big void that connects us to the area below. We can see directly to the area below, and of course this is facing the inner court that we talked about downstairs earlier. What's interesting is that the air from the inner court actually creates cross ventilation with the air from the balcony we looked at earlier. So here you can really feel the air flowing, guys. There's something we can see here, guys, that really catches our attention. There's a focal point that I see. Its shape is different from the others, which is a large black circle. This must have been hard to make, guys. I can't imagine how they did it. Maybe they made a hole in the wall or something. Well, we can ask the architect about it later, guys. Interesting. Let's go straight to the master bedroom. Wow, the atmosphere is really nice. It's cool in the master bedroom. So as we enter from here, we can see the walk-in closet right away, friends. Usually when I think of a walk-in closet, I imagine something like a solid wood wardrobe. But this time, we're presented with a glass that's quite thick, but you can't really see through it clearly. This is made from Kakamoru glass, friends. It's interesting, so it kind of gives that effect, right? And then right here in front of me, there's a dressing table. As for the dressing table itself, the mirror is really interesting, guys. It's an oval shape that extends downward. It gives a pretty unique effect when the resident enters the walk-in closet. Now let's move straight to the bedroom area, guys. Here we can see that the use of slats, lines, and patterns gives the room a distinctly different feel. And this uses HPL, guys, that's the material. The same goes for the wood here. You're probably wondering where the bedroom is, right? Where is it? Where is it? Turns out there's a concealed door here. Yes, right here. Yes, right here. Wow, you can see, friends, that so much sunlight really comes in here. That's why you can see it from those slats. Now, in this master bedroom, what catches my eye is the mosaic tiles that have a different shape compared to the ones downstairs. You can see that the shape is smaller and more elongated. Well, friends, if you can see in the corner area for placing items, there's an asymmetrical part. And it turns out that the shape is actually because of the site itself, so it's not just about the asymmetry, but it creates an interesting effect, friends. For the flooring in the master bedroom, it also uses NVIDIA granite tiles. Friends, so the color combination is the same, still using gray. Let's go straight to the master bedroom area, heading outside. Facing the view, well, you can see, friends, that indeed there's something eye-catching here, friends. Hold on, let's open this first. This is a sliding door. Open the door. Slowly. Okay. It definitely lets in air and also light. And this is like a balcony for the master bedroom. The bedroom is quite comfortable because it's not like a typical balcony that's just square. This one has some round elements to it. This is a kind of shape that's actually massive, but it also makes it possible. Maybe you could even sit here. Now there's also a breeze block screen here, friends. It's painted in a terracotta color. Terracotta. So to match this facade, friends, like what we saw downstairs, this is for the seating area. Yes, the balcony is quite spacious, friends. It seems like it's not just for the room. It looks like it's kind of a private balcony too. We can see towards the inner court, friends. So from above, we can see and monitor the kids who were playing downstairs earlier. Okay, friends, that's it for the house tour for now. This time, we will continue talking with Mr. Ivan from Atelier Klikja. Let's go.
For the Air House project, the land area is about 295 square meters. The building area is 225 square meters. The request for this project itself is actually quite simple. From the owner, they wanted first a house with a concept where the opening at the front is quite minimal. So there are more openings on the east and west sides because this house faces south, and they also want the interior area of the house to have cross ventilation or good airflow, and also for the lighting. For the concept, yes, it's still heading in that direction actually. So from that general idea, the main concept is probably something like contemporary tropical. That's what we developed further. We also tried to add a touch of wabi-sabi or Japandi elements into the building. So we tried to combine those, we tried to accommodate them into the design. As for the materials used, actually we use materials that we are quite familiar with, especially considering Indonesia's tropical climate. So like natural colors or the warm tones of wood or even terracotta bricks. Well, we try to apply that to the building itself. You can see it from the perimeter walls where we use brick veneers. Then for the facade area, we also use gray, light gray and white to provide contrast. Then, in the interior area, we mostly use wood tones to make the area feel warmer. The challenge during construction or when designing actually happened right at the very beginning. In general, there were no problems with the design itself. But before the construction started, this building actually stood on a piece of land that was eventually divided into two. So the existing house had a roof that was connected as one. So actually this land now has a frontage width of 11 meters. So originally it was 22 meters. So when it was divided in two or split by the previous landowner, we had the challenge of dividing this roof into two parts. So at the time of the split, basically during the demolition of this land, we had to treat the neighboring property so it could have its own roof. And there were issues like leaks and so on. That's what we handled first before we could start working on this land. The design phase took 3.5 months. The construction phase was 18 months, excluding the earlier 3-month retention period. So the total is about 21 months. Then for the budget itself, it's between 7 to 8 million per square meter. In 2023, the focal opening, or one of the windows that became the main point in this house, was circular with a fairly wide diameter. That's final. Its fabrication can't use regular aluminum. We use iron that we bend, then we weld it into one piece, and we divide the middle area because during the glass production there isn't a single unified piece. So we have to split it in two so that the module fits into the frame we've made. Okay, if you want to see our portfolio, you can check our Instagram at Atelier Courtyard. If that's a bit confusing, that's how it's spelled. Later, you can also send us a message if you need the portfolio or a PDF, and we can send it via WhatsApp.